Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 1991 Mitsubishi Debonair V Aqua Scootum. Up front is a 3.0 liter V6, and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this Debonair for one main reason. We didn't get these here in the States, and this was Mitsubishi's attempt at an executive car. Now, the Debonair was actually started back in the late 1960s, and it ran all the way up until 1988, where they swapped it out for this generation. This is a second generation Debonair. And so we're going to be talking about all the weird features of this vehicle, as well as the fact that it is the Aqua Scootum trim level, or package, whatever you want to call it. And so it is very, very unique, and I might be one of, if not the only English speaker to be doing a review of one of these. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 3-liter dual overhead cam V6 under the hood. Well, we saw this here in the United States in the Mitsubishi 3000 GT. Now, this is non-turbo, although you could get the 3000 GT non-turbo as well. And this was the upgrade engine. They did have a couple of 4-cylinders, and they had a non-dual cam engine before this, which some people tend to prefer. I like the power of the dual cam, and this is Mitsubishi's first time using a V6. They had used an inline 6 in the previous generation of Debonair, but their other cars always had 4 cylinders, and so here, this is them branching out with the 6. Now, like I said, paired to it is an automatic transmission, which ain't great, but it ain't worse than the turn signal noise. Why does it have like a whistle? Like it sounds like someone whistling to someone else when it starts. Take a listen again. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the most annoying turn signal in the world. Last but not least about the drivetrain, it is front wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive the Debonair? Well, I like it. The dual cam is nice, and it does have that torque. However, this isn't really meant to be a speedy vehicle. This was a comfortable cruising vehicle, and so you do get that with the V6. Now, the owner says on the highway, it's basically a cruise missile and will just sit at any speed you ask it to. But also around town, it's plush and posh. It's unbothered by the weather and the road conditions. It just kind of goes, and this was similar to what we got in the 90s for Cadillac or Lincoln, and you can kind of tell that by the styling. It also reminds me a lot of the Chrysler New Yorker. Apologies. So that is very special. But with that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a bunch of physical gauges and something special. So in the center, we get our speedometer and tachometer. Off to the right is coolant temperature and fuel, but then to the far left, we have the voltmeter and our airflow indicator, showing you where the air is flowing from the climate controls. Very, very cool. Down below that, we have the hazard switch and cruise control off. To the bottom right, we have our fog lights and rear defrost. On the steering wheel, we do get a Debonair badge, but we also get power, volume, and source change for the radio right in the middle of the steering wheel. Absolutely love this era of steering wheel buttons. So cool. And off to the right, we have a climate vent, our gauge dimmer switch, and moving out of the door, we have an Aqua Scootum badge, as well as our power mirrors, power windows, and power locks. Moving into the center, we get 2 more climate vents. We get this really nice stretch of, I assume, fake wood, not totally sure, but this wood design on the dash and glove box. And then we have our climate controls. You could tell where it's being sent by that gauge cluster, but we do have automatic climate control back in 1991. Absolutely love to see all of that. We have a cigarette lighter and ashtray, and we have the radio. This radio looks fresh out of the late 90s, but this is actually an early 90s radio. Love to see all of that. To the right of the climate controls, we get some seat adjustments, as well as our steering wheel up and down, as well as we can lock it with another button. And then we have our power memory seat option. So we do have 2 levels of memory seats, and the shifter. This is the 4-speed automatic shifter. Nothing really too crazy there. a little cubby, our antenna, and then our transmission modes for power, hold, and eco, a little center console, and no cup holders. So in the Debonair, we do not have any room for the big friggin' bottle. Now we have to talk about the seats. So this is where the Aqua Scootum comes in. Aqua Scootum is actually a British clothing company. They were one of the pioneers for designing waterproof fabrics. However, in the late 80s, early 90s, a Japanese company actually purchased Aqua Scootum, and so Mitsubishi collaborated with them. This is the equivalent of an LL Bean or a Gucci interior. And so the seats are made up of material from Aqua Scootum. They have this awesome, almost Burberry look to them. They feel very premium and they look very special. This here in American streets, I'm in Wisconsin today. No one for thousands of miles probably has an Aqua Scootum or has even seen one of these. So to be driving one and reviewing this is just so special. The seats are very, very comfortable as well, to be expected out of the Debonair, but also a vehicle like this, and I just love looking at them. A fun little Easter egg as well is that the power seat adjustments for the driver's seat make up the Mitsubishi logo. However, speaking of seats, where you probably want to be in the Debonair is the back seat, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, we're in the back of the 1991 Mitsubishi Debonair V Aqua Scootum, and the Aqua Scootumness carries on back here. Bet you didn't think I'd ever say that. It carries on back here. You can see these seats are finished in the same material as the front, and I absolutely adore them. These are some of the coolest seats I've seen from this era, and they just are so special. But back here, we have plenty of features. We have the audio system. We also have air conditioning. Now, I can control the AC from this little panel back here. However, this car actually has two AC systems. There's another one in the trunk just for me. I could change temp, fan speed. Let's get it high. You could hear it start over my shoulder. Very cool there. Then we could push this up. We get a little bit of storage in here as well. And this whole center console folds up. This is a really nice place to be. Comparative to other executive cars, not a whole lot of space. Now I can actually move this seat forward. And that's what they would do to pick them up from the airport or something like that. So I can lean it forward and then actually push this all the way forward. So now I can really stretch out. Oh yeah, this is the executive experience now. But when the seats are in their normal position, even the Century and the President had a decent amount of space. This requires you to move the seat forward in order to get an adequate amount of space. So just kind of an interesting kind of issue there. Oh, wow. The Debonair V. Look at this. They have it, and then just a picture of deck chairs up above it. Very, very cool. Let's hop out. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space of the Debonair, and then we'll talk about the looks. Right around the back of the Debonair V Aqua Scootum, we also have the Aqua Scootum of London badge back here. And like most cars of the era, you turn the badge in order to reveal the keyhole, pull it up like that, and you do get a pretty sizable trunk. Nothing really crazy. It is pretty good, but again, not as big as the President or Century. So you could see where this vehicle fell short, and it was actually in physical size. We do have an access panel back there for that rear air conditioning, which is very cool, but that's it. That's what's in the trunk of a Debonair V Aqua Scootum. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I do love the look of this. This does kind of harbor the late 80s, early 90s ending of the square body. Again, it kind of looks like the Chrysler New Yorker from the same era. You also see a little bit of Lincoln Town Car in the silhouette and things like that. I love this aqua green color, again with that Aqua Scootum. And this is a Mitsubishi with a factory hood ornament. When have you ever seen that? Well, now you get to say today. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the 1991 Mitsubishi Debonair V Aqua Scootum. Well, this has been an incredibly unique experience, and I was so excited to share with you guys this weird, wacky car that you probably haven't seen or heard of before. Now, you might recognize it as a different product. This was also sold as the Hyundai Grandeur in Korea. Mitsubishi and Hyundai actually worked on this together, similarly like with the Mitsubishi Precise and Hyundai Excel. This car was meant to be an executive level car for Mitsubishi. Basically, the whole reason this car was around was so that Mitsubishi executives didn't have to get carted around in a different make of vehicle. They didn't want to be seen riding around in Nissan Presidents or Toyota Centuries. They wanted their own homegrown executive vehicle, and so this was it. Now, in terms of that category, this vehicle fell somewhat short. It was never offered with a V8 like the President or V12 like the Century. It wasn't nearly as long or as big as those cars. But that doesn't mean it was any bit less special. This car is dignified. It has respect for itself. And that's what carries throughout this video. The ride quality is nice. That dual overhead cam V6 sings when you want it to sing, but it also plays second fiddle when you want it to. This car has presence. It walks with its chest out, and it deserves to. It should. And the seats are meticulously stitched with premium materials from a very reputable brand. And so today, I've been able to sit within luxury and enjoy what the Mitsubishi Debonair V Aqua Scootum was. Say that 5 times fast. I double dog dare you. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Chris for letting me borrow his Debonair here today. He's been absolutely wonderful. I've reviewed so many of his vehicles in the past. This is his latest acquisition, and I think it might be one of his best. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.